Welcome to day 156 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of May 2007, which was Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. A lot of stuff happened.
Yes,
It was quite long. It was like almost 3 hours long.
Yeah, I think it was 168 minutes, I believe. Yeah.
something like that.
So, I have like, I am all over the place with this movie. I don't know where to start.
I guess one thing that I want to bring up from the start is that I don't know if you guys agree with this too, but I didn't like Elizabeth's character in this movie.
No, she was
I-
not as good as, at the very least, she was not as good as Dead Man's Chest Elizabeth.
I like the idea, what they like again, her like leadership position in that sort. I like that.
I liked that part, but I didn't like the beginning like half part where it was like
Like kind of unnecessary relationship drama between
and
her
then
and Will.
like the other guy Brackett like kissed her and everything. Then there was that part, then there was her father's part and everything, and it was just like, was that all really necessary?
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, there's a lot of characters in these movies,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's Jack, there's Will, there's Elizabeth, there's Davy Jones, there's I forgot his name.
Barbosa.
There's
Hector?
Barbosa, there's Beckett, there's
There's like the crew members that we
yeah,
always
like
see.
all of the crew members were like four of them are pretty important. There's the Asian dude, there's the Jamaican woman, there's Will's father, there's Elizabeth's father. There, you know what I mean? There's like so many people that are like all
Yeah.
kind of important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, even though the movie's long and a lot happens, it still feels like you don't really get to know these characters.
No.
Especially
Yeah.
like, I think, and you do for some of them. Like, I think, like Jack, I think you know pretty well. And
Jack is pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
He's
there's not
kind
And
of
I
greedy
think the-
and self, but he's like a good person.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
the other one that you get down pretty well, I think, is Davy Jones. I think you get him down pretty well too. But he also
Yeah.
had a really big focus in the last movie.
I think the other ones you get down pretty well are like the secondary characters, which are like the crew members and everything, because
Yeah.
they're
I
They're
kind
pretty
of lump
simple.
them to one like character because it's like this side of the crew member and then this side of the crew. So I kind of am like there are like what four main ones. It's like the eyeball guy, his sidekick, and then like the parrot guy and the small man.
and then there's like the
Gibbs.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there
Gibbs.
him.
Well, I like Gibbs.
I
He
like
kinda
Gibbs.
stands on his own.
Yeah, but like for example, the stuff with like Elizabeth and her relationship with like her father. Again, it's not really gotten into.
Yeah.
Will and his father kind of, again, last movie kind of did that, but I still feel like there could have been a
Yeah.
bit more with that here. Jamaican woman, the whole thing being Calypso, that like comes out of nowhere and like seems to just be an excuse to have the set piece for the Maelstrom, and like that's it. Like literally, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
I
mean?
do wish we got to know more about her.
Yeah, like, because it does make sense, actually, from the
Yeah.
second movie, because the second movie, you're like, who the hell is this random lady that can do all this crazy shit? Like, oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense now. But they don't do anything with it. And, like, and then the Beckett, like,
Davy Jones just got stabbed and then just fell off the ship.
yeah, and then, like, there's Beckett, who's, like, kind of portrayed as, like, the big bad guy. I mean, again, like, he's the overarching thing, and, like, he gets the whole dramatic, like, the most dramatic ending, but, like, what do we know about him? We know, like, nothing about him.
No, we just know that he's kind of like that mustache twirling villain in a way.
Yeah, so it's
Because-
like, it's really weird because again, it's long and there's a lot of stuff that happens, but you come away where like you feel like you don't know a lot of these people who you should, and I think
And you feel like you know them better in other movies, but then when you come to this movie, like I feel like in the other movies you can understand everyone's motivations and choices, but here it's like, okay, 1 second this guy's betraying this guy, another person's betraying this person, and it kind of is like,
It was a
Wait,
little
hold
bit
up.
confusing.
What is your motivation again for doing
Yeah.
for portraying this person and
It,
stuff?
it would be like if, because remember how I said the last movie kind of felt like Lord of the Rings in terms of the scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of, again, the visual aspect, this still applies here. If anything, the
Oh,
visual
yeah.
scale is even
Yeah.
better in this one.
The fight scenes are really well choreographed,
but-
and you can
Yeah.
see everything.
So if you want to go back to the Lord of the Rings comparison, it would be like if you watched Return of the King, but you just watched like a 30-minute summary of the other two films beforehand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like you know who these people are, and you at least generally know what they want to do, but you're kind of still like, you feel like you're missing something.
Yeah.
You know, because again, Lord of the Rings were even longer than this, but like their length was utilized to really understand who these people were.
Right, yeah.
And that's not quite done here. So, if anything, actually, I had an idea. Is that even though I was kind of a little bit mixed on the first movie, it did tell its own its own succinct story, and it's it's
Yeah.
very much like, okay, this is a movie. Here's the characters. They do a thing. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
And again, I understand completely why what I'm about to say did not happen, and we instead got these two movies. But I think what have actually worked better is if from that movie, everything else is a show.
Oh, I see.
Uh,
Because that would fix the whole pacing problem.
It would
and,
fix
like,
the pacing
Yeah.
problem so that these
And
movies
you would
wouldn't feel
have,
really
like-
long, but you would also have more time to develop each of all of these important characters.
Right.
Not only
Like,
that, but you could have an adventure per episode kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Where each
Yeah.
person would have their own arc.
And and that would
Yeah.
get into the character development a bit more, and we'd understand these people and how they interact with each other. And you'd slowly introduce these new people and how they interact, and you would have this big build up to these, this kind of climax that would feel more earned.
right.
So I get
yeah.
it because again, this is mid 2000s and like nobody was making gigantic TV shows like this, So completely understand it and why that didn't happen, but I feel like in terms of pacing, it would have worked better because
Yeah.
as like again the first movie being sort of like a, its own movie, but kind of getting you into the world, and maybe like. The whole climb. Even though I liked the second movie more than the first movie, it was still a bit long and had a decent amount of stuff going. So they could have spread that out a bit more. Maybe built up Davy Jones a bit more in terms of showing other things he does, and then maybe like I don't know, have the whole climax that was in that movie be sort of an end of season 1 or something, right? And then kind
Right.
of going into the something like that, right? So. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about this. Because again, there are a lot of things in this that I think were really cool. Like especially just this world they've built is actually really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially the part with like when all the pirate kings like met up and everything.
Oh,
for, like,
yeah.
Yeah,
pirate lord.
Like that was interesting. And again, the whole Davy Jones locker thing, that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I'm glad to see that. The whole thing about like the green flash and like going under the wall, like that was cool. That was cool to see. So, and it would also allow them to add kind of more of those things in there that would be more, it would allow them to expand on this whole Calypso thing and have that be more important,
Yeah.
So it's something,
And have it be like a final boss battle kind of thing.
or something, I don't know what they should do, but something more than this. So, I mean, as far as, well, I guess kind of spoilers, because you've seen at least the fourth movie,
Yeah.
but I guess, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything you can tell us without spoiling something about that.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it even like the same storyline?
It does tie back to the storyline.
Okay.
I can
Oh,
at
okay.
least say that much.
Okay.
There is a tie back.
Okay. So,
I think.
yeah, because it's weird. It's one of those things where, like, for example, near the end of the movie where like Will and Elizabeth were all like, let's get married like right now in the battle or whatever, right? And it's like, I feel like if we had more time with these characters and we had this established tone of like kind of epic moments, but at the same time characters being kind of weird and goofy with that, and we kind of had seen similar things to that, like this, if we saw that then happening, it would have been like, oh, okay, sure, why not, But
Yeah,
here
it
it's
just
like,
kind of happens.
but
this
we
way.
didn't have that kind of, we weren't prepared for that in a sense, so it just comes
Yeah.
out of nowhere and we're just like,
What are you guys doing?
And if anything,
Especially since they were fighting the whole movie.
yeah, and especially also since it feels really weird because Will says something like, you know, or Elizabeth's like, "Why are we doing this now?" And he's like, "Well, this may be the last time we'd be able to." And it's like, wait a minute, why? Like, obviously,
yeah.
you know what, like, you know what happens out later in the movie, but like at that time, as far as those characters are, why the hell would they think that?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like really obvious foreshadowing. Because it's like, oh, well, okay, something's gonna happen, right? So it's just like really, you know, it's just like, why? So it's just it's annoying because again, there's a lot of things I like. There's the world. There's a lot of the set pieces I like. The action I like. There's the effects I like, and a decent number of these characters I do like. I just want more of them and interacted with in a better way, and so it's frustrating to me because like I think the second one is my favorite, but like comparing this to the first one, it's like the first one is more like consistently decent, whereas this one is like split above and below. So it's like, how do I compare them? I don't know. Honestly, I think I have them right next to each other in the rankings, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to keep that or not, even though I view them pretty differently. So I'm glad I saw it for sure, but I'm just still kind of like, I don't know.
I reread quickly, like I sped read the fourth movie thing, and I was like, oh, actually, never mind. There is no exact tie-in to the plot of this one, so forget what I said before.
Okay.
There's like some things, but
Well,
apparently the fifth movie had more of it, but yeah.
okay.
Oh, weird.
Well, whatever. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think overall we can agree the second one was probably the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also kind of agree with me that this one has like some really good stuff, but some also really just
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some weird.
Especially with the lore and world building and everything.
Yeah, that was definitely
Like-
the best part.
All the background stuff is really good with, the world, the lore, the backstory, the setting, the visuals, all of that is really good. It's just like Jack is fine. It's just we don't see him that much in this movie actually.
No.
Yeah.
And again, you would think, oh, so that gives you more time to develop the other characters, but then they kind of don't. And it's like,
No, they just
Yeah.
betray each other left and right and
yeah.
everything.
I feel like the person we actually followed the most for some reason was like Hector Barbosa for some reason.
Yeah.
Because like when Jack's not there, he's like there, like he's
Kind of their
you
leader
actually
instead.
get to know him a little bit more now with him not being like the antagonist.
Yeah,
but-
it's interesting that they
Yeah.
did that, but at the same time, like, it did feel kind of fan servicey.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
like, to be honest, he doesn't. There's nothing really that, like, it has to be him doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd, but I mean, he's fine generally. It's just
Why not give that role to Gibbs? He's earned the spot. He's
and
a swell guy.
Gibbs is loyal and he has his teddy bear.
Yeah, that's true.
but
That said, on one random note, I'm very happy that we see that the prison dog is alive and well.
oh yeah, that was
Okay.
like interesting tie-in.
Oh yeah. I have no idea how he ended up there, but we're not gonna question it.
He's got a new master now.
he's
Yep.
another god bound to flesh.
He's the keeper of all keys. He actually has the key to the Chamber of Secrets.
Oh my god.
The chamber of safety.
Yes, the Chamber of Safety.
Full of lots of plants to hide behind.
Or-
The chamber of Sora.
He's just like, God. This plant and then this plant tomorrow.
Oh yeah, so I think in terms of characters, like the two things that are like the most missed potential, Will and Elizabeth's relationship.
Yes.
Because like
It
again,
didn't-
it's
yeah.
not bad. It's just not there enough.
It's just not developed
You don't
enough.
see it as like if this scene with them like declaring their love for each other and like getting married and everything was included in the last movie or even the first movie, then I feel like would have been more earned. But in this
Yeah, I think it
movie,
would.
after seeing like them betraying each other and everything, it kind of just comes out of left field, and you're like, you only now decided to get
Yeah.
married?
So there was that, and then the other thing that I wish got a lot more development was Beckett,
Yeah,
because
because he's like that big bad that you don't know anything about, and it's just like, who cares if he dies?
yeah, and again they gave him like a really dramatic death, and I'm just like, I don't like. I get what they were trying to make you feel, but I'm like, I'm just thinking like, because the whole thing is like, oh, he's going down with the ship, and it's like I guess they're portraying it like he totally didn't expect them to like do what they did, but at the same time he like admires it or something. But it's like we don't know enough about him to like really understand his reaction, or to be like, is this a surprising reaction, or is this like who he is? Like we don't know, right?
Right.
So I'm
yeah.
thinking like they really should have built this guy up more as like, specifically have him do things besides just like kind of order some people around and like talk to people kind
And then,
of
like,
intimidatingly.
And have tea parties.
Yeah.
and kill Elizabeth's dad off screen. Off screen.
No, they kill he. Oh well, yeah. They do kill him in the second movie.
Her dad?
Yeah, he's like escaping to go warn somebody or something, and they like capture him. Remember?
No, didn't we see him in the beginning of this movie?
Yeah, we saw him in the beginning of this movie, like sitting at a desk.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He killed the captain that was going to chauffeur him and Elizabeth off the island.
Oh, I guess I'm okay. Well, fuck, I don't know what's going on then. But yeah, so like anyway, either way. So I guess it's just proving my point. Like, see him actually do things and see how he reacts to other people doing things. Again, this whole thing is like how he views things as like business or whatever. But it's like, well, we still don't. We just see him talk about it. We don't really see him actually do it. And
Yeah.
because then you could have that sort of death and reaction would have been a lot more interesting if we actually knew how he usually reacted to things. So yeah, it's just kind of frustrating, where it's just like, you had
I
potential
will
for something
admit
interesting.
one thing though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
His ship was really pretty before it got blown to smithereens, but
It is a shame that they like made that set piece and then they just like blow it
Completely
up.
destroy it.
yeah,
I do
I
kind
like-
of
pretty.
I do kind of like it as like also a contrast with like the Flying Dutchman, which just like looks like basically satanic ship. So it's just
yeah,
complete
that's true.
opposite. So it's kind of nice interesting how they do that. And then Black Pearl's it's just kind of nice
Your
but
standard
standard
pirate
ship.
ship.
So it's the kind of extremes there. So that's kind of nice.
You can it's nice that they like made it so you can tell which ship is which, and it's not like whose ship is that again?
Yeah, because that would be a pretty easy problem to have, because there's not too many ways to change how a ship looks, but I guess they figured it out. So
Yeah, they managed,
Yeah.
which is good.
actually, wait, okay. Speaking of ships, the whole thing at the end, like, okay, the last ship battles were cool, right? So we're not arguing
Yeah.
about that. But what about like all of those other pirate lord guys? They didn't do anything. Like,
No.
it gets back to the whole Matrix Revolutions issue of like you have this potential of like a shitload of ships all firing on each other, like a giant like fleet armada battle, and you don't do it. Again,
And
like
you have all these other pirates from different places, and they probably have different technology. And I would have been interested to see, like,
Yeah.
like firecrackers from the Chinese ship, or like whatever, like the African ship would come up with, or like the French ship if they had something weird and Frenchy going on.
They
would've
shoot
been-
baguettes.
They shoot baguettes, flaming baguettes, the rejected baguettes.
yeah, the ones that are too hard, they shoot them in the face.
Just the ammunition.
But so like what the French guy, he's actually he pretends to be some like baker, like when he's not robbing the place, and he's like, oh, bread's too hard, all right, throw it in the hold. It was like,
A
why are you
mini
throwing
torpedo.
your bread in the ship? And he's like, I'm gonna dispose of it.
In the ocean. Feed the fishes.
But yeah, well, see, that's another thing. Like,
Brett?
again, like, you liked the whole idea of the world and like having that be there. But again, like, wouldn't have been interesting if you actually saw, again, like the personalities of each of those different pirate lords and how they were different
Yeah.
from each other. You know, not just character-wise, but again, the technology-wise and how they did things, and you know, expanding on the world more, right? So, yeah, just hey.
Can someone make like a fan fiction about the baguette thing, please? That'd be so funny.
Or just a short story.
Yeah. Like, someone can characterize each of the other, like, pirate lords' ship fleets, and that would be so great.
Instead of like, what house of Harry Potter are you? It's like, to which pirate lord are you a crew member of?
That would be so great.
That'd be great.
See, if we had a TV show, then that would be completely possible, because
Yeah.
we could maybe see, like, them having conflicts with the other pirate lords and, like, how they fight, and then, like, there are times where they make up and stuff. Because I kind of like the idea of, like, the big captains, they're kind of making alliances, but they're also, like, making other alliances behind each other's backs. It's just that, like, it works for the whole, like, each captain does that, but it seemed really weird when, like, Will and Elizabeth were doing that to each other, and like throwing Jack under the bus too, and like Hector under the bus for no reason.
Yeah.
So it would have been interesting to see like Jack and like let's say the French pirate lord, they make an alliance, but then like the French guy betrays him by making an alliance with Hector, even though they're on the same ship right now. Because that would have been interesting.
There was at one point in the movie where in 10 minutes the Black Pearl changed hands like 5 times.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, wait, what happened? It's like one scene it's in this person's hand, then another scene it's in this person's hand, and it's like, wait, hold on. Jack hasn't even like come back to the Black Pearl, and it's already in like 5 people's hands.
Oh my god. And then the scene when they're like on the little like the tiny island to like negotiate, and Davy Jones is like in the bucket. And like not only does it just look silly, but then I'm like, wait a minute, how do they get him in there? So they had to like move the ship up close to like that thing, get out like a bucket, fill it with water, put it there, and someone had to like carry him like onto the bucket and put him on there. I'm like, this is like the funniest image I can think of.
Stuff your captain into a bucket.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, wait a minute, so if they really wanted to, couldn't they just like... Well, wait, okay, no, remember like to 300 where, what's his name, Xerxes was like on that like throne being carried around by people or whatever?
Yeah.
yeah.
What if they like did that, but it was like a bathtub? They could
All hail the Scrub King.
They could carry him around. He wouldn't be like he could go on land. They could carry him around. It seems like this is. I watched this. I'm like, wait, the whole thing is he can't go on land. I'm like, this feels like too easy of a trick. You know what I mean? Like too easy of a loophole to break
put
that.
him in a
Just put him in a
bathtub.
bucket. Fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
Wait, can that mean that he can go in like rivers and lakes and stuff?
Oh.
Wait. No. So what if like he's like, oh, I really want to go on land, so he just like waits until it starts raining, and then like he just like hops from puddle to puddle.
Calypso, I'm sorry. Take me back, baby.
He has to keep going from puddle to puddle. Yeah, wait, see, is there like a depth limit in terms of like the bucket, or can it just be like a layer of
What
water?
if it's an infinite bucket?
Well,
Oh.
well, no. What if it's just like the ground's just like it's not even like a puddle, but it's just like wet? Like, does that count?
Oh. We're challenging the lore.
See what I
now.
mean? It's so many questions now. I don't know. I don't know how to think.
If they had a TV show, then this would be answered
Exactly.
by
They
this
could
Yeah.
go into the lore about the loophole bucket.
On one random note, referencing that scene, I liked the part where he was like, just refer to your left, and like, Hector and Elizabeth look to their left, and even Jack looked to his left, like, oh, wait, no. One's looking to me, actually. Hi!
That was actually something where it was like, the whole thing is like, so Will kind of betrayed them, but at the same time, like, it was kind of implied, like, he was kind of double crossing
Yeah.
them, but like, you're not sure that he was, and like,
I'm not even sure of how the betrayals worked and everything.
Yeah, and,
The
like,
only
did
person
Jack
who-
actually have a plan to go and do? You know what I mean? It's like, wait, was this, like, how did this work?
The only straightforward person is Jack, because he's just driven by his own desires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's just like, I want to be immortal, so I'm gonna stab the heart.
And then,
It's pretty straightforward.
yeah.
I do like how that was like kind of the way of saving Will for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a way of like actually like, oh, okay, that's kind of clever way to deal with that. That said, wait, oh, what was it? Oh, okay. There's a couple extras in this movie that are like really stupid.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's this one guy who like it's one of the like British Navy dudes. He's like picks up a sword and is just like holding it up, like looking at it with the blade pointed at himself, and then Davy Jones just comes and just stabs him and takes it. It's like, what were you doing? You were just holding the sword like, ooh, pretty, and then like you get stabbed. It's like,
Maybe he was stoned or something.
are you okay?
I like how the conch dude came back.
The conch guy is back. Oh no, never mind, he's gone. 2
He
seconds
was
later.
there for like 5 seconds, and then he got tossed off the ship.
Oh my god. Yeah, some of the extras were kind of goofy. And I don't know if maybe that was like the director purposely making them goofy, or if it was just like the extras kind of messing around.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Uh.
This is the first of many sequels we'll be going through.
Yes, it is. There's
Oh, yeah.
first of
Like
5.
5
Yeah,
total.
5.
5 total. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
I'm like looking forward to it, but I'm also like, wow, that's a lot of sequels.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I literally looked through and I'm like, was there any other way to do this? And like, not really, because like, we had to watch like Attack of the Clones between Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. We had to watch, The Matrix Reloaded between the other two Matrix movies. We had to, put in Prisoner of Azkaban like as soon as we could. And so like, some of the other, like, for example, like, watching like Iron Man and Captain America like just randomly in 1997, it's like, well, literally we couldn't watch anything else then, because so it's just this weird kind of thing where it's like, well, now we have to just shove this all in now. So yeah, I think this is the time when it's like is the weirdest regarding all of this stuff, but I think at the same time there is something kind of similar that we're doing later. Let me look. But yeah, so we have 4 sequels in a row
Oh
Yep.
boy.
for this year, and then 2012 has some weird sequelings a little bit. It's not as extreme, but it's pretty weird still. But that's
On
still...
another random note, we were talking about baguettes and the French captain and stuff. We will be taking a trip to Paris.
Oh, yeah.
within
Wait,
next week.
Huh?
that's his secret identity.
Oh!
Oh.
I gotcha. Nice.
Oh, I see.
With the baguettes.
Yeah.
He had a different plan in mind of like
Yeah, he didn't die. He became a
Oh, yeah,
pirate.
that's right. Oh.
Fucking look, it's all in the same, right?
It's all in the same universe.
Yeah. I will
Tune in
have.
next time to figure out what the heck we're talking about.
The Disney Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
All coming together.
Well, until next time, goodbye.
Bye.